You got a question?
Yeah, so what's some of the criminal record of some of these people who have been arrested for these illegal license plates? Have they been arrested before in the past?
Well, it all depends. Some majority of them have had a criminal history. Some of them was their first offense. I think the mayor and the governor have made it very clear today that it's not fair for the everyday New Yorker that has to go through, pay the toll, pay the subway. It's not fair. I personally have seen people pull over to the side, take off their license plate, put a fake tag on just to avoid payment of the fare, and those days are over. It's not happening anymore.
All right, Sonia, you had something?
Do you want to talk about the penalties?
I'm sorry?
Anyone want to talk about the penalties?
Phil? Penalties?
The penalties vary according to a monetary fine as well as seizure of the vehicle. Most of the seizures are done because of unregistered due to lack of payment of the tolls, as well as just simply the plates being not on file. So if those vehicles aren't claimed in a certain amount of time, usually 60 to 90 days, the city can initiate forfeiture proceedings, and those vehicles will be forfeited.
But can I add one thing, which is one of the problems in this is that you can't now confiscate these devices that obscure tolls. So the NYPD doing a hell of a job, the sheriff's office doing a hell of a job, can stop these people, and MTA police officers stop these people. They're obscuring their license plates with all the risk and criminality that's involved with that, and we can't confiscate the devices that are being used to obscure the plates. That's wrong, and the governor's made a proposal in the Senate and the Assembly to fix that.
Is that what some of the legislation is?
Yes.
Hang on. Yeah, what do you got?
For any of the folks here, in the last year, how many police officers or law enforcement personnel have been ticketed, arrested, had their car confiscated, or anything in relation to offenses that we're here for today?
Yeah,
No. Off the top of my head, last year we had a member who was fired for violating the rules of the tolls, the toll bridges. We had one member who was fired. I know the question came up about police officers and obscure plates. We send our units out regularly to make sure that our officers' plates are not covered. And any officer caught with a covered plate, we discipline them. So it is something that we take seriously. We don't come out here and enforce the laws here and don't enforce them at the precincts. We do check the precincts every day. That's part of the integrity control officer's job. We have outside investigations unit from my office, the police commissioner's office, the chief of patrol's office, and that's part of their daily duties to inspect precincts to make sure everyone's license plate is
How many have you?
We don't have time.
But I asked the question. Can I just get that?
So I don't have the numbers here. I have to get back to you.
Tim,
Right.
thank you. They'll follow up.
We
Tim,
ran a story.
CBS, go ahead.
We ran a story last month showing that Amazon was still selling and shipping tinted plate covers to New York, even though they told the mayor's office that they weren't going to do that. What is the MTA and the NYPD and the city doing to prevent retailers from selling things that will help people obscure their plates?
We would like to criminalize that, and it's very disappointing if that's the case. As Amazon made a commitment that they would get rid of any device that was being used to obscure plates. And I know that there's some still on other websites, but Amazon really made a strong commitment. They ought to make good on it if they haven't. I'd like to look into that.
All right, Mark?
Yeah,
NBC.
we'll move over to subways. TW made some comments today. Jenna, can you talk about that a little bit?
I don't know the comments that TW made. They took on an ad in the paper. I was on page 9 of the Post, better than being on page 6. And I thought all my life I've been told I don't look good in orange because I'm a redhead, but I thought that the outfit they put in me was slenderizing. So that's all I'm going to say about the TW's comments. My view is the NYPD is doing a hell of a job in the subway system. And we need to work. The governor's brought additional resources. The NYPD has the MTA's full confidence, and that's what I'm going to say, and that's what we're going to keep doing.
TW asked
James,
for more collaboration.
Wait, Sonia?
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've elaborated. James.
Just can I ask one on topic and one off? The on topic is, what message do you have for, we've heard a lot about private vehicles. What message do you have for these corporate guys, like people from corporations who are having these ghost plates that we see behind you here?
I think the message is very clear. Look behind you. Look where these corporate vehicles are at. They're right here. And guess what? We're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to do this type of enforcement on these corporate vehicles, and we're not going to stop. We're going to be relentless in our efforts to take these corporate vehicles that violate the law off the streets.
So any vehicle that's caught will be seized. whether it's a private vehicle or a corporate vehicle.
All right, short on time, Mac. Go
Jano,
ahead.
the mayor intimated today that the National Guard plan is maybe not permanent enough for him, that he wants a more permanent plan for the subways. What's your reaction?
The mayor has brought 1,000 additional officers, and I tip of the hat to Chief Madry and Commissioner Daughtry have been part of that, and the NYPD has surged officers, so we're thrilled with what the NYPD has been doing. The governor brought some additional resources which are helping with not just the actual bag check process, but the communication to the riders of a sense of security. That's part of her goal, and we're going to keep implementing that.
Are they taking any weapons out of the system?
No. Last question.
They taking any weapons out of the system?
We're going to Gersh over
Just
here.
one quick question
He was the
about
OG on bad plates.
One quick
This
question.
was before you ask the question. Let me just add on to the topic real quick. We want commuters to feel safe. We know the subway takes 6 crimes a day, something like that. I'm not sure the exact numbers, but we want commuters to feel safe. We want our officers to be visible. We want them to go onto the train car, walk to the front of the train car, walk to the back, and then guess what? Do it again. We want commuters to feel safe, and that's what we are doing. That's what we're working on, to make sure that commuters feel safe. They see us, they feel our presence, they can hear us. We want our cops to ask questions. How are you feeling today? What's going on? Hello? How are you doing? We want commuters to feel safe.
May I add that we survey our riders, 120,000 of them regularly, and what they say is, what makes them feel safe, what makes them want to ride the subway more, they see a uniformed law enforcement officer. The mayor has done a great job of pushing more officers into the system, and the governor has added additional law enforcement uniformed personnel, and it's a net plus.
All right, go ahead.
Jana, there was a
My
lawsuit.
question was just logistics, because only the police commissioner briefly mentioned it. What is the initiative? You said once a month you're going to do targeted enforcement somewhere.
Well, it started yesterday. It may be more than once a month. It could be once a week. It could be bi-weekly. We will determine that as we go along and we see how the program is rolling out. You heard that there's multiple agencies, the TBTA, MTA, Port Authority, NYPD. Each entity supplies an amount of officers, a certain amount of officers, and we work together, all right? You know, someone was talking about plate readers. We've used plate readers. With the whole idea behind these ghost vehicles is they defeat the plate readers. They're doing things to defeat the plate readers. So this is when you need boots on the ground, a unified team of local, state agencies that are working together to deal with people who are trying to defeat the plate readers and trying to beat the system.
All right, thanks everybody.
Jana,
Thanks
there
so
was a
much.
lawsuit
Thank you very much.
announced
Can you
against the
respond on the lawsuit for
Wait.
the MTA?
Listen,
Someone who took a photo of a man who was dying.
Yeah, I mean, number one, when somebody loses their life in the subway, this is a tragedy and a human tragedy. So we must acknowledge the pain and the suffering of that family first and foremost. I have not reviewed the lawsuit. I don't have any comment on the lawsuit, but I do say that if MTA staff were involved in distributing a photo or taking a photo and sending it to others and putting it up on the web, that is kind of a heartless thing, and we are actually conducting an internal investigation to see if that happened. I don't know that it did. The investigation is ongoing, but I just want to be clear, that's not something that any MTA staff person ought to be doing.
All right, thank you.
Jana, thanks.
Thanks very
Thank you.
much.
Thanks very much.